Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll be continuing with the dashboard application. We'll be refactoring the code and we also will be adding the new logos. So let's get started. I changed the logo, but if you see the color is black, so we'll be modifying that. So I used SVGs all over the application. I'll show you a very easy way. So this is the logo. I'll show you a very easy way to modify it. Just right click here, right click, open with plain text editor. Wherever you see black, just replace it with white. So here this is black, so I'll say white. White is FFF 6 times. Again here, let's see. Yep. Now save the SVG thing and open again. So you'll see this is replaced fully with white. If it's not visible, it will be visible now. As you can see, this is fully white now, right? So that's a good point. Now there are different SVG files, so this is also an SVG. Right click here, open with plain text editor. Again here you see color black and only one place there is black, so just save this, and again if you open this SVG, it will become white in color if it's visible to you guys. So now we'll be using that, right? So before adding images, let's first refactor the entire application from scratch. So this row layout will remain. So left sidebar, let's first refactor left sidebar. So what we can do is close the resource, select here, right click, add new QT QML file. Now if you remember, we want to create a folder, right? So let's call the folder components slash sidebar slash, because there are two components, one is sidebar and the other is right side, right? The main page or the page component, the right page. So for sidebar, this will be a folder called components. Inside that there will be sidebar. Inside sidebar, I'll say sidebar.qml. So click on next, finish. And as you can see, there is a folder called components. Inside that there is a sidebar. Inside sidebar there is a sidebar.qml file, right? So if I it's very simple, right? Just you have to do one thing instead of page and background and all this stuff. So just copy this page. Let me show you what to do, right? Open the sidebar QML file, select page here. For that, obviously import all this stuff, right? Sorry, no need to import Qt controls 2 times, only material is good enough. Also import Qt quick. Now give it an ID of, let's say, control. Now what was inside the page? Background. So just copy this, paste here, copy the header thing, paste here. Also let's remove this from here. Okay. So first let's remove the background from here. Now let's remove the header because we are done copying this thing. And now let's copy all of this stuff and paste it here. Now again cut this part, the footer part, and below the header let's put our footer. So the header I think ends here, right? Okay, so I made a mistake here before, or did I? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. So let's close the header. Below the header, let's put the footer, and below the footer, the list view and all this stuff. This is just alignment, right? There is nothing it's not like the middle thing will be appearing below, because footer is always at the end, right? This footer will always be in the end. It's just that it's easy to see, like background, header, footer, and after that all the inner components, right? So it's easy to see. So that's why I put that footer above that, so it's easy to see. Otherwise footer will always be in the end, so nothing fancy here. So now if you see, this become very simplified, and instead of page I'll just say sidebar. Now unknown component, because you have to, because this is main.kml file is not in the same directory, so one way is to say import components slash sidebar. Now if you see, sidebar is green in color because it's able to see it. The other is URI, if you remember. So I'll say working with stack, because I made this project when I was teaching you stack. So the URI is called working with stack. You can name this URI anything you want. So I'll say import working with stack 1.0, or just working with stack, and build the application. Tool QML reset code model, and run the application, and it's running perfectly fine, right? So we just did a basic refactoring, but if you see the main.kml file, you'll see a row layout, sidebar, and the right page, and that's it. So very clean layout, right? So for this cleanliness, I broke it down, so it's easy for us to understand which part of the code does what, right? So now, besides sidebar, if you see, there is a header, there is a footer, and this is too much, right? This header thing is too much space. So again, we'll be adding QML files. So right click here, add new Qt QML file, sidebar header dot QML. Excuse me. Okay, I have no idea why this happens every time I do that, but I have to just remove this. Open with editor, just remove this. So now that is gone, and here I'll just add this. I'll show you how to fix that. For now, let's just work with what we have, right? So yeah, if you save the application and run cmake, excuse me. Yeah, now we can see sidebar header is there. So for sidebar header, what we will do is we'll just copy all of this thing, cut this in the sidebar header, we'll paste this, and import Qt quick layout and controls. Just copy all of this thing, right? Give it an ID of, let's say, control. Indent properly, control A. To indent, you say control plus A, and then control plus I. Control A and control I. Control A for selecting, control I for indenting. So by the way, these things will be assigning from outside. So we'll be assigning from outside. So we'll say header is sidebar header, and here we'll provide the height and width. Yeah, beside that, it's the same. So let's run the application once and see. Yeah, as you can see, it works perfectly fine, right? So let's also refactor this thing properly. So I'll say anchors, left something, right, left margin is 15, right margin 15, and some space for vertical center, and just remove this. And now this is looking cleaner than before. Color could be before the font. Yeah, we could do that. We could add some spacing here. uh, yeah, I think this is good enough, I guess. Actually, instead of white, we should say FFF for uniformity, right? Because everywhere we are using hex colors, so we can use hex code here. So for uniformity, we can do that. So if you see now, it's very clean. We know what a sidebar header is. We can just click here to get this sidebar header component. So it's very easy for us to navigate. Similarly, we'll also do the same thing for the footer component, right? So let's do that. But before that, let's see if we can modify the sidebar header. Uh, if you see, this color is meaningless, right? This color is useless for us because this is by default the color. If you see here, by default the application color is that only, right? So this color is meaningless. So we can just item and remove this because item is not visible, but the component inside the item is visible. So we can just remove that and it will work fine. Like if this header had any different color, then using a rectangle would have made sense. But because this has the same color as the background, so just use item. So this is transparent, like not visible, but the item inside that is visible, right? So instead of rectangle, I used item. Again, let's see if we can modify something. For now, I think it's good enough, right? So yeah, again, this will be FFF. So yeah, for now, sidebar header is done. Now let's work with sidebar footer, right? So you will see it will become very, very short and sweet when we break it into components. So again, okay, right clicking here won't work. Add new, QT QML file. File name will be again components slash sidebar slash sidebar footer. Run CMake. And see, sidebar footer is added. Now just copy this again. Let me copy this one more time and paste here. If you see rectangle height 100 color transparent, so again this is useless because the rectangle has no color of its own. So again I'll make this an item, ID root or control, right? Control AI for indentation. Height we have to set from outside. Good practice to set the height from outside. So I'll say sidebar footer height of 100 and width your choice. If you don't give, it will by default take parent.width. Remove this color thing. Now this is aligned properly. Okay, so let's see if we can improve something here. Let's use full hex code. Some space after ID. Now anchors should be always in the top, so it's visible, like it's clear to the user where the positioning happens. Although I'll be making a video on this after my mentor Mr. Mike Trahan provides me the QML guidelines. And I think this is good enough, right? I guess height should be before, radius should be after that. Yeah, I think this is good enough, guys. I guess, right? So yeah, we'll be obviously modifying this add item text later, but if you see, this becomes very clear now. Background is this. And header is this, footer is this. Let's see if we don't give a background, what happens then. So it's white by default, so I have to provide a background. If I provide a background of an item, let's see what happens. Perfect. If I provide background null, let's see what happens. Yeah, so let's give background null because giving a rectangle with the same color as the as the application window is meaningless, right? So background null. I think if we open inside, we have a background here. So to override that, we give background null. So yeah, now if you see, this is very clean. Obviously this part also we will modify, right? So let's make a component called sidebar list view or sidebar list. So add new QT QML file, call it sidebar list. No, not sidebar list. It will be inside components slash sidebar slash sidebar list. And all of this thing will be list model also. This also. All of this will be inside sidebar list run cmake. All of this will be inside item component. So for the item, let's give it an ID of, let's say, control. Yeah. List view, it will fill the parent. So let's set here sidebar list. Because it will parent. Now I think this will be good enough, because this item will take the full height and width of the page, and this list view will take the full height and width of the item. So by default it will also take the full height of the page. I hope you got me right. So this thing here will take the full height and width of the page, and this sidebar list is basically an item. Now this list view is a child of the item, and it is trying to fill the item. So by default the item is filling the page and the list view is filling the item. So list view is filling the page, right? I hope you got this point. Here let's make it very simple. So I'll say anchors, fill parent and margin. Okay, so left margin of 15, right margin of, let's say, 15, top margin of, let's say, 50, bottom margin of, let's say, 50. Now some spacing here, gap here, sorry. Yeah, let's see if you can modify this, improve this any better way. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, I think this is more clear. Again, I think this is more easy to look at, right? So let's do that. Again, for the text, it will be name. So whose name? So let's give it an ID of, let's say, sidebar item rectangle, and I'll say sidebar item rectangle dot name. Right, anchors will always be at the top, so it's easy to see where the item is positioned, right? And color, let's say after text, space after ID, and yeah, I think this is good enough, right? We did some good refactoring here. Let's see if this fixes or breaks the code. As you can see, the code is still valid, so we did not break anything, but instead we made it more like cleaner code, right? So now let's add some image to the sidebar list. Excuse me, sorry. I have a runny nose, sorry for that. So in the rectangle, clearly right now we have only a text component, right? So instead of that, let's add a row layout. So for that you have to import Qt quick controls.layout, sorry, Qt quick.layout, layouts, no layout, this, no need for vertical center. Instead we can say anchors, okay, left margin. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? And let's say, let's give some spacing here of, let's say, 10. So the text will be the second item. The first item will be an image, and width will be, let's say, 24. Height, not width and height, because this is inside the layout. Let's first indent it properly. Yeah, if you see properly, the row layout first will be image. It's very simple, right? Let me show you. Obviously image is not having any source right now, but yeah, this is a row layout, right? So here it will be the same thing, the image and the text. So very same thing, right, for the row layout. So okay, let's add some vertical center here. Well, like, why not? Vertical center, parent dot vertical center, why not? Image, because this is inside the layout, I'll say layout dot preferred width 24, layout dot preferred height also 24, and source, the image source. Uh, Now this is challenging. Uh, we also need the image, right? So I'll say required property string image source. So I'll say sidebar item rect dot image source. What will happen is we have to provide this from the list model. So right now we are providing the name. We will also provide the image source, right, for each of them, and then we will show the image source here, right? Fill mode image dot preserve aspect fit or crop, whatever suits you best. This will be again layout dot alignment q dot align v center. So vertically in the center, again image will also be vertical center, right? So now let's provide the image source for all of them. So for the first, let's see the resources image. So for the first, I'll be using the mail SVG file. If it's visible to you guys, if it's not, don't worry, it will be visible when we copy and all paste all this stuff here, right? Um, so for the collection, it will be database.svg. Statistics will be chart.svg. My post will be post.svg. Admin panel will be admin.svg. Let's run the application and see. Sidebar list model is not defined. Yeah. We will fix this for now. Let's ignore the text. We'll fix that. Don't worry. Let's run the application once. Actually, you're not able to see that because right now only we have sidebar here, right? The actual IDs and all moved inside. So it moved inside here. So in the main.qml file, we are keeping it very clean. That's why we are not able to see, right? So we will modify that. Don't worry right now. Don't worry so much. We will modify this. We will use backend CPP file for selection. So don't worry about that for now. We'll fix that later. Yeah, let's see. So as you can see, the logo and all this stuff is added properly. Let's reduce the text size. 14 is a bit too large. 12 should be better. Again, use 6 character Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? Looks good enough. Now you have to modify this also, the footer component. So for the footer, again the font size will be 12, and instead of add item, it will only be, instead of plus add item, just use add item, and before that we will we will add an image. So basically row layout, spacing of let's say 10 again. So again this will be layout dot alignment q dot align v center. I hope this is not very confusing, right? Because we did so many projects with layouts that it should be very easy for you. Layout dot preferred width, because this image is inside a layout. So layout dot preferred width 24, layout dot preferred height 24. Source, uh, we will be using plus dot svg, plus dot svg. Fill mode, image dot preserve aspect fit or crop, whatever suits you best. And as you can see, this is also like fixed properly, right? So now the add item is also working properly as expected. And what we can do now, let me think. We can add this page, right? So for now, let's do something. Sidebar list, close all the other stuff. Just go to sidebar list. Now this list view current index, like there is no way for other files to access this current index, right? So for that, exactly for that, we should have a backend helper.cpp file, right? Which actually manages the current index. So for that, we need a backend helper cpp file. I'll call this backend helper, which will manage the selected file. Imports Q object, add QML element, click on next and click on finish. Run cmake. For me it's not showing, so I have to run cmake. Yeah. Also add QML singleton. Now add a Q property here. I'll call it int selected section, or because each section will be dashboard or post or something, right? So selected index or selected section, anything you can say, whichever you want. Yeah. So if you see set selected the s is small, so commit and uncomment, it will become it will be fixed. Now right click here, refactor, generate missing properties, so it will generate. Now by default we will set the index to 0 here, equal to 0, and because this is the constructor, right? So in the constructor by default index is 0. Now everywhere we can use this, we can use backend helper dot selected section. So it's nothing but, for that you have to import the URI working with stack. Backend helper dot selected section. Why is it not okay? So I had to reset my code model, but in your case it should be like after building it should be green in color, so we can obviously see now. Now if you see on clicked, sidebar list view dot current index equal to something, right? So instead of that, we'll say backend helper dot selected section. Just a minute. Backend helper dot selected section equal to index. Now, if this backend, come on man, if this is updated, okay, let me split side by side so it's not very confusing to you guys, right? If this value is updated from here, right? Because we are updating the value from here, this current index will also change, and if the current index changes, the color will also change, right? Yeah. So this is how it works. Or you can also use here backend helper dot selected section. Both works fine, right? Because both will have the same value. Current index and backend helper will have the same value. So you can use either one which suits you, right? So both works fine. Let's see now. To actually see the change, we can use here, and we will just say backend helper dot selected section. We just did the 0, 1, 2 value, right? We can obviously choose the model or something right after that. So as you can see, the value actually changes. So in a way, we are passing the data to the backend and then again using that. So I hope this was not very difficult for you guys. How much time is there? Okay, so 30 minutes have already passed. Let's proceed. We can obviously, because this right side page is looking a very blank right now. So let's fill the page. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I'm back. Let's work with the right side page. So we are done with the component slash sidebar. Close everything. Go back to b.qml. So we are done with the sidebar. Now, again for the right side page, this looks a bit bad, right? So we will fix this thing. So for that, let's add two pages, right? Dashboard and collection. So we can actually see that the pages are changing upon clicking. So instead of all this thing, let's keep the color for reference. Instead of page, I'll say stack view. ID will be right side stack view, and layout.fill with true, layout.fill height true, same as it is. Remove everything. Now, initial item and all this stuff will depend. Let's see. Let's first create two pages, right? One for dashboard, the other is a generic page in case any other thing is selected, right? So for that, let's add two QML files. So click here, add new QT QML file. So it will be components slash right side page slash let's add a base page for the background color, and all the other pages will inherit this base page. Run cmake. I'll show you all, so don't worry, right? So if you see components, right side page and sidebar. Now we have two components. So sidebar is already done. Now this is a base page. Here we will only simply add a simple page, very simple page. Import qt quick controls dot material. ID will be control, and the background we obviously will choose this color. Come on, man. Yeah. So this is very simple page with a background. Now all the other pages will inherit this base page. I'll show you what I did, right? Uh, Although if you remember, when we made a custom button, we just wrote button here and made our modification, and everywhere we used custom button, right? So this is basically the same thing. So now we are done with the base page component. So let's add new Qt QML file. So apart from base page, what do we need more? So I'll say components slash right side page slash dashboard page, and we add another one. So add new QML file, components, right side page. Here we'll be adding let's say generic page. Generic means any other page which is not a dashboard. So finish. Yeah, so this will inherit our base page which we created so far. What is base page? Basically a page with this black color. Here let's give it an ID of, let's say, control, and here we will add a text, will be QT translate generic page, and color of the text will be again let's say white, and font size 14, font dot weight font dot heavy bold, and the positioning will be center in the parent, anchors dot center in parent. So this is generic page, right? And for the dashboard page, again we will be importing the base page component. ID will be control. Now here let's do something. Let's add a button. Let's say we add a button. Anchors dot center in parent, and text will be click me. For button we need to import Qt quick controls dot material. We will obviously change the button to something else. Just I'm using placeholder for now to actually show that something is happening. So let's add two components. ID of, let's say, dashboard component or dashboard page, which is basically our dashboard page. This is not because code model is not reset, build is not done. Now it will work. And second component, I hope you are getting what I'm doing, right? I am creating a dashboard page with an ID this, and this is a component. So every time we are using this, a new object is created. So this is generic page. Now here what I will do is I'll say initial item will be if my backend helper dot selected section is 0, then dashboard page, otherwise generic page. Now now if this value changes, what then? Like what if this thing changes? What should we do then? So then we have a thing called connections, and the target is backend helper, and the function is on selected section changed. If you remember this, I already taught this thing. Let me show you. Backend helper.h file. There is a signal called notify. If you see, this is a signal. So whenever this value changes, this signal is fired, right? If you see set selection, here we are emitting the signal, right? So whenever this value changes, this signal is fired. And we are saying whenever that signal is fired from backend helper, whenever this signal is fired, do something. Now do what? Just push one of these two pages, right? Now, which page will be pushed? This also has an extra parameter. Or let's say it does not. Okay, let's forget that. We will push one of the two pages, right? Now, which page should we push? If this is 0, push the dashboard page. Otherwise, push the generic page. Now, here's an issue. Before pushing, pop the current page, because otherwise what will happen is you will keep on pushing the pages, right? So for example, if you do not pop, if you just do this, let me show you. It will work fine. Say click me, because this is the dashboard page and this is generic page, right? So if you see, this flash effect is happening because I did not remove the transition effects. But if you see, we keep on pushing pages. This will become very expensive. Let me show you the process memory which is taking. So if you see my application, it is taking 69 MB, right? And if I keep on pushing more pages, you will see it will keep on increasing the space. If you see, it's 71 and it will increase, right? Because we are keeping on pushing the pages which we don't need. So that's why first pop. So I'll say right side stack view dot pop null. If you pass null, it will pop all the pages except the first page. So which is exactly what we need, right? So now, if you see, let me open the task manager. It's 69. And this is not, it will not increase exponentially like the previous one. It will again come back. It will come back because you're popping the previous page. It will not increase so far as it did previously. It will stick to a standard. Like that's why it was important to limit that, right? So yeah. So we used stack view. Okay, this looks very bad. Let's remove all the stuff, right? So for the stack view, let's remove all the transition, all the effects. So pop enter will be null, pop exit, push. Let's copy all of this and replace all of them with null. Yeah, let's do that. Transition in the stack view looks very bad. No need for doing that. And we can just group them together. No need for a space in between. It's not like we are adding any transition or something. Yeah, now this will work fine. You can also like instead of simply stack view, you can also create a new component, right? If you see, this is very smooth, almost instant, right? So yeah, now how much time is there? 44, right? So let's continue with the next video. Thank you for watching. We just refactored the code, added some icons, and I think this looks decent enough, right? Compared to the previous one. Yeah, I think this is looking good enough. So let's proceed.